Hello there, YouTube. Due to some requests, I thought I would do a walk around. But seeing as I haven't done a walk around on the iron, we'll make this a double walk around. How about that? Well, since this is the most recent that everybody's asking about, we'll start with the DR. I'm using my Kodak ZI-12. I'm standing quite a ways away from it. It'll be kind of hard to do close-up stuff. But anyway, she's a single overhead cam, air and oil cooled single, 4 valves per cylinder. This motor's been around for quite a while. You see it's got this unusually large oil cooler because like the early GSXRs, it has oil jets that spray oil like at the bottom of the piston and whatnot to keep things nice and cool. It still has a stock exhaust, and as far as I'm concerned, always will. It's an all stainless steel exhaust. It'll never rust or corrode. It's nowhere near as heavy as like my 93 was. Oh my lord, that thing was heavy. But she's disc brakes front and rear, single progressive suspension, single shock progressive suspension in the rear. You know, the linkage creates the progression. She's electric start, unlike my 93, which was kick only. 94, they made them electric start, but it was like an add-on. It really looked trashy. The only thing I missed from my 93 is it had a tachometer, not just a speedo. But everything's all rubber mounted, even the switch cluster just kind of floating, which seems kind of odd because these things are so smooth. They don't need any kind of damping you wouldn't think of. You even got bar end weights, which was missing on the right hand side. The previous owner somehow or another in 340 miles lost it. Probably wasn't tight. And for AstroTurf, who's asking about the front brake cable, this is that hard sheathing that guides along and moves with the forks. It prevents it from, because the suspension is so long, it can bow into the wheel or bow out and create a big hoop, and you can snag branches and whatever on it. But you can see that sheathing, it runs along it and ends right there, and it's just rubber hose from there. But she just goes up and down with the suspension. And they're conventional forks, but they're cartridge style conventional forks, which was kind of unique. Very few conventional forks are cartridge forks. The rear shock has a remote reservoir with adjustments throughout. My 93 came stock with a rear rack. I'm gonna order the rear rack for this one. It replaces these handrails and the rack becomes part of the handrail. Those things are so handy. You can't believe how much stuff you can pack on these things. These things are a regular workhorse. Big old torque monster. Sure, they're heavy and old technology, but it's so reliable and so fun to ride. I mean, I don't need all that fancy new stuff. Lightweight. I'm not racing with the thing. I'm just out enjoying myself. And man, are these things fun. So here's the old tried and true iron. I get a lot of questions about this fly screen, and you guys probably never see any kind of close-ups of it. But it's just I think it's 100 and retail on it's like 130, 140, somewhere in there. And it's chrome because I actually purchased it for my 1200 low and didn't like the way it worked or looked. And I threw it on here, as I've mentioned multiple times, is just a test to see how that, what Harley refers to as the headlamp visor, looks like a cafe style quarter fairing. But I put it on because its height above the speedo, its width, it's not quite as wide, but I put it on just to get an idea of how that headlamp visor would work, and I went right down the road here, loved it, never made an adjustment. I just made sure everything was tight. It just has clamps with rubber on the inside, and clamps down here and then bolts there. It's got all kinds of adjustments. You can go up and down on the forks and all kinds of stuff. But it's It's a stone stock 883, old 4 cam, 4 push rod, 2 valve heads, just as basic as you can get. And the only thing I've done to it is I modified the exhaust by putting 1/2-inch holes in that, you know, looks like a soft plug that's about halfway down the muffler. The mufflers are open, but they put a bunt or a plug about halfway down. I just drilled a 1/2-inch hole. I may go larger on that, but I did the most horrifying thing yesterday. I'm back in I parked the DR next to this, and as I'm maneuvering through the shop, getting up close to it, I'm at a weird angle, so I'm kind of making adjustments, and I backed the license plate of the DR into the damn airbox cover. I don't know if that scratch is coming out, but it doesn't seem, it seems to be white from a scratch. I'll play with that later, but anyway, other than stage 1 flash and some volumetric efficiency table changes because of the stock airbox and the stock exhaust, it's stock. That stage 1 flash made all the difference in the world. It broadened its usable power. The red line goes from 5,500 to 7,000, which I don't normally rev it that high, but it still pulls when you're getting that high. But yeah, I haven't done anything to it. I guess I did flip the mirrors around, but everybody does that. I did that the night I got it at home. And then as far as other mods, I put the 13-inch shocks, the Progressive 412s. I removed the stock 11-inch shocks and went to the 13-inch. Gives me a better ground clearance. I had to get a 2-inch longer. Was it 2 inches? Yeah, went from a 7-inch to a 9-inch, I believe it was, side stand. I don't remember the exact specs on that, because the thing with I put the Progressive springs in the forks and set the sag to 1/4 of its total weight, or its total travel as my sag. Having the shock set on the lowest setting made that adjustment also. So as far as spring preload, they're down at the bottom, and it's just perfect. The thing would drag real easy with my weight and the way I rode it. It drug the pegs quite easy, and it never hit the peg. It was so low it wouldn't hit the peg feeler on this side. It's got scuffs on it now because now it does hit it, but it would hit the exhaust. The whole bottom of the exhaust is all scuffed up, and man, it hit that exhaust so hard it almost take the back wheel off the ground. But yeah, I love this little thing. And I've got a bunch. I've ridden it a bit here lately, and even drove it to work on Thursday 3 days ago, and did a bunch of videos on it there. And a couple of guys have mentioned that, what's the deal with the iron? Aren't you doing any vlogs on that yet anymore? And I go, hey, shit. And I'm like, yeah. Well, I haven't posted anything in a long time, so I will do that. I'll look through what I have on it, and I think I'm gonna take it for a ride here in just a few minutes, actually, after I get my iron scratching DR back in the garage. So anyway, there's a quick little dual walk around. I thought, why don't I just push these, you know, it's not raining, it's nice out. Why don't I just push them both out and do a dual walk around? See what the guys and gals think of that. The DR is the 2013, and the iron's the 2013. So anyway, thanks guys and gals. There's your walk around. Hope you enjoy it. Take care now. And thanks for watching and all the comments. You guys keep me busier than a 3-peckered billy goat. But thanks a lot now. Take care now. Bye-bye.